Hey there, I'm Philip Henderson, and welcome to PGH Woodcraft, and welcome to my shop. If you look around, you probably say, this really doesn't look much like a shop. And you'd be right, because actually it's the living room of my temporary housing. And how I came to be in temporary housing and call this a shop is really the inspiration for this video. So I've been a woodworker for, well, let's just say I've been a woodworker longer than the internet existed and long before social media. It's probably more accurate to say I dreamed of being a woodworker because my vision of a woodworker was the new Yankee workshop. It's what I learned on. Big shop, best, most expensive tools out there, making grand pieces of furniture. And I always thought that someday that's going to be me. That's what I'm going to have. Someday I'm going to have a shop like that. But the thing about someday is it really never comes. Someday is always out there in the future. In fact, we're not even promised tomorrow, let alone someday. So a couple of years ago, it really hit me that if I'm going to do anything with woodworking, I better get started. So I went out my shop out back, 12 by 12 garden shed that I shared with the lawnmower and some other lawn tools, which means I had to do a lot of my woodworking outside. And in the southeast United States, especially along the Gulf Coast, it's either too hot or too wet most days to do serious woodworking. But I did the best I could, especially with my lathe. Had a lot of fun making bowls and ornaments, and still consider myself a beginner there, but was growing some skill there. Then turns out, get transferred. New city, temporary housing, separated from my shop. COVID hit, real estate market goes crazy, all that stuff played into really keeping me in temporary housing a lot longer than we had expected. And got to thinking, I still want to do the woodworking. I'm anxious to get into it, but just can't do it here. It's not practical in this environment. Until I stumbled on a YouTube channel by a guy named Rex Krueger. Rex focuses on using hand tools and small space. He uses a mixture of old tools, new tools, and some tools that he makes. But he does simple woodworking projects using simple tools in a small space, and that really resonated with me. Okay? And I got to thinking, well, that looked pretty fun, and also I think that's something I could do here because I wouldn't be kicking up a lot of sawdust, wouldn't be kicking up harsh chemicals. I could probably do that here. After watching a lot of his videos, I got inspired to get up and do something, and the very first project I built was this low bench that you see me sitting on right now. Made out of 2x4s, made with all hand tools, and I'm going to do a separate video on this. But literally I had a hammer, I had a saw, a speed square, and a combination square, and that was it. And was able to come up with this. So after that, got this 21-inch joiner plane. Built in around 1913, between 1900 and 1913, not exactly sure when. But the logo on it indicates it's from that time frame. First time I used this, it was like, wow. Sharpened it up, tuned it up a little bit, but as the wood engages, the wooden plane with the steel engages in your wood, it's a sensory experience that you just cannot get with power tools because you feel the wood through the plane, through your hands, through your arms, and you're just getting that holding. You hear the sound of the chips going, and you see the plane. It's just amazing. And the fact that a 100-year-old tool with some simple restoration work was able to produce these kind of shavings and these kind of curls just absolutely astonished me. So fell in love with it. And that's what this channel is really going to be about. It's going to be about self-discovery. It's going to be about discovering old tools, old techniques, things of the past. This is not going to be a channel to get the latest techniques and tips and tricks and things like that because I am a beginner. I have a tremendous amount to learn, but I am looking forward to that journey. And I hope you'll come along with me. So until next time, take care. God bless.